Hi everyone, thanks for checking out another InfoSec Hub video, and today we're going to talk about the firewall, which is a concept that's around since the late 80s, maybe 90s. And when people think about information security, they maybe only think about technical implementations. Well, one of the technical implementations, at least you can have, where some policies and some compliance can be applied to, is a firewall. But what is a firewall? It is a network device. It monitors and controls incoming and outgoing traffic. So you, as a viewer, you are sitting in front of your TV, which has internet access, or maybe a laptop or your workstation. They all have internet access. If you have multiple computers within the home, that's your local area network. Then you have a gateway that goes to the internet. So you go from one local area network to the wide area network, which is the internet. And in between sits the gateway / firewall, because this device can monitor all incoming and outgoing traffic and apply rules to it. Let me show you. So the client initiates a request to access resources on a server. Could be a web page, could be email, could be anything you're doing that requires you to have an internet connection. So you as a user do something, you go to a website and hit enter. This is step 1. Step 2, the request is sent over the network, local area network, towards the server. So here, local area network, multiple clients, they send a request to the firewall, then it goes to the router, then it goes onto the internet, then it goes to the website server, the web server, and it comes back through the internet, over the router, through the firewall, to the client. Okay, so the request first encounters the firewall, and this one is the most important. For the firewall applies packet filtering. It allows packets based on predefined rules, so IP addresses, ports, and that's just really, let's say, a firewall is set up based on risk profiles. So you want to make sure, let's say for instance, you have a company that you only want to be able to visit websites within your own country. Maybe a bad example. Let's see. You don't want to visit malicious websites. So with deep packet filtering and rule sets, there are companies, organizations out there like Spam House, for instance. They monitor the internet. They see what domain names are bad, from which domain name spam and phishing is sent, and they include it into a block list. That block list can be downloaded by your firewall. So you have one main entry on the network for all your clients, and all the inspection of packets, IPs, ports can be blocked. Let's say for instance you block on your network FTP traffic because you don't want to have somebody set up a FTP server that they can send information to. So you block port 21 and 22, for instance. So if the firewall see any request coming through that uses port 21 and 22, it closes the connection, and then the client can't connect to its destination. Therefore, you mitigate a risk. So it goes to the firewall. We go to 5 now. The request passes all checks. So the request is really checked if it is compliant and it follows all the rules, and then it passes it on to the server. Firewall, router, server. And the router, of course, is maybe this is the gateway, and before the gateway is the firewall. Internet, and then go to the server, and then route it back to the client here. That was 5. Then 6, exactly, the server processes the client. 7, the server's response passes through the firewall, is filtered, and then delivered to the client. So this is the whole structure. Client is here having a request. have the firewall check it. If it's potentially threatening to the network or to the client being this here, the endpoint, then it goes to the router, because the router sends it out to the internet. The internet goes to the ISP go to the server, and then it goes all the way back to the client. And the rule set for this point 4 is actually the most important, because the firewall, you set rules to a firewall. What do you allow and what don't you allow? And also, if you have a firewall, logging is also very important. You want to see what's happening on the network, what's potentially malicious and what not, and you want to keep track of that, because logging is really the eyes and ears actually, and with that you can tweak the firewall, because you can have false positives. For instance, let's say for instance that the company policy is not to connect to any cloud, but you do want to connect to OneDrive for some kind of reason. So you can block all the other clouds and just make sure that the service, and there's always an IP block of that service available. An IP block is maybe, let's say, 1,000 IP addresses that you do allow, and the rest you block. So you need to keep an eye on the logging as well to see how effective it is. You need to hear what users are complaining about, and this requires a form of tweaking to make sure that the firewall is effective, that people can work, but at the same time the network and the endpoints are protected. I hope this video was useful. Maybe I talk a little bit too fast, but it's quite straightforward, and the concept of a firewall is already quite old. I think this is already from the 80s. But of course, nowadays, when you look at firewall solutions, you have open source firewall solutions like pfSense, like OpenSense, but you need to be more of a network engineer to understand their inner workings. But if you are a security enthusiast, you can start with an old computer, maybe 10, 15-year-old computer, and set it up as a pfSense machine, and you place it, you connect your router to it, and let it give out DHCP, let it give out internal IP addresses, set up a rule set for the firewall and tweak it as far as you can. To this day, it's still possible, and if you want a little bit extra security for your home network, that's the way to go. There's plenty of documentation and plenty of videos out there how to get it started, and it might be something nice to do when it comes to autumn time. Thanks for watching this video, and we hope to catch you in the next one.